All right, all right. Welcome. Thanks for coming out to watch our 2024 family reunion recap video. We just spent an amazing week last week in Las Vegas. I feel like it was a win. I didn't lose any money, mainly because I didn't go to the casino. That was a big accomplishment for me. We all got a lot of takeaways from last week, right? And we always talk about when we go to these events, it's 50 to 75% about the networking, 25 to 50% about the content, right? Both of those things are so important. I thought this year's event was awesome. The big takeaways that I had, so we got the pleasure of speaking with or hearing Tony Robbins. Now, Tony Robbins, if you don't know, motivational speaker, amazing, been doing it for many, many years, has talked to so many world leaders. He typically will speak for 60 hours. He kept it to about 3 hours for us. And I just got so many good nuggets from that. So I just wanted to go through a couple of those things because the big things that resonated the most with me were around the Tony Robbins event. One thing he said three really important things. One, focus equals feeling. Whatever the things you focus on are how you're actually going to feel, right? You're going to feel whatever it is that you focus on. He says we don't really experience life. We experience the life that we focus on. So think about that. We experience the life that we focus on. So if you change your focus, you're going to change the way you feel about things. That one really hit me hard. Number two, once you focus on those things, you have to decide what it actually means for you, right? Your feelings are going to control your actions, and we get to control what that actually means, right? So what actions are you going to take based upon those things? Those three things really resonated with me. He also talked a bit about the market, right? And talked about it's never really the market that is the problem. It's always you and your mindset towards the market, right? There's a lot of people having amazing years in real estate last year, and there's a lot of people complaining about how the market is stopping them from being able to do stuff, right? There's only so much that we can control. And by focusing on the things that we can control and not on the things that are out of our control will help us with the right mindset to be focused on the positive things and on a good market. He also said good times create weak people create bad times, and bad times create strong people, and strong people create great times. I thought that was a great quote. I don't know if he wrote it or not, but it was great to me. And the last little bit was he talked about nothing lasts forever, right? He talked about the winter market, winter meaning the bad market. And we've been in a quote unquote winter market, a bad market for a while, and nothing lasts forever, right? It lasts for a year, it lasts for 2 years. He went through a lot of statistics to show that we're trying to have great careers, not just great years. And if you only focus on the last year or the last 2 years and you feel like you're never going to come out of it, that's just simply not true. We're already starting to see ourselves come out of it. Interest rates are going to start coming down. People's mindsets are going to change. People are out there buying homes, selling homes. There's so much positive stuff going on. This stuff doesn't last forever. So if you focus on the good stuff in the market, good things are going to happen. If you focus on all the things that people are saying and all the bad things about the reasons why people are not going to buy houses or sell houses, then that's the kind of career and the kind of year that you're going to have as well. So a lot of the takeaways I had are around mindset. Those things really hit me hard, and I want to just share those messages forward so people can focus on positive things for the upcoming year. Greg, what do you got?
Hey, thanks, Noah. Hey, team. So, yeah, I'm a firm believer that mindset and activity is really all it takes to be successful in any sales environment, regardless of industry. And it was funny that that was the foundational blocks of so many of the breakouts and so many of the keynote speakers. One statistic I heard was 80% of success is psychological and mindset, and 20% is strategy. And it's funny. So you need to have the right mindset. It's all about how you show up then in the activity you do. But the challenge with both they talked about is distractions and how we're so set up for failure in this current world. The world is more distracting than ever. And it's funny, I heard a phrase that I never thought of it this way. They talked about we suffer from abundance instead of scarcity. We always talk about the scarcity mindset, but when it comes to distractions, we truly suffer from abundance. And it had me thinking about the power of words. So when Mel Robbins opened up, she grabbed everyone's attention and she said this: you're going to learn or hear something in the next hour that will fundamentally change the trajectory of your life. When she said that, I literally leaned forward and she had the attention of everyone in that room. And I started to think about the power of words. And I started thinking, imagining our agents walking into a listing consultation or a buyer's presentation and talking about how they are going to, their knowledge of the real estate market is going to fundamentally change the trajectory of how they will price their home, the success they will have in this transaction, and the experience they will create. And I was just thinking about the power of words. But going back to mindset, Noah, Mel was talking about knowing what you need to do is the easy part. How you make yourself do the things you know you need to do that you don't want to do is the difference. And action is the answer. So again, it's mindset, how you show up, eliminate the distractions, and then getting into action. And you need to prioritize what matters most, right? That's part of the activity. We've learned a lot about goal setting, and I listened to the MRE podcast the other week about how these annual goals can be so stressful because it's such a finite period of time. It's like you're on a ticking clock. But if you have larger scale goals, make 5 or 10-year goals and bite those off in little increments and do alignment checks, right? Or check-ins with yourself to make sure you're on track to hit those monster goals. It's so much easier. And you need to say no to the things that don't align with your core values as you're going through goal setting processes. So the other thing I heard too about mindset is happiness. And I never really looked at a difference between happiness and joy. And they were talking about how happiness is a cycle and it's external. We have moments of happiness that ebb and flow, but how joy is internal. It's like a measuring stick that we have inside ourselves. And when you think about happiness, we're always thinking about what's next. That's been satisfied. Now what's next? Where joy, you have that emotional meter. And there was one tip that they gave that I'm going to put into action with my family. And they talked about a joy jar. At first, I sort of chuckled at it, but the concept is you take pieces of paper and you write down all the things that bring you joy in your life, and you put them into this jar. And that way you have this reservoir of good, joyful deeds or acts that serve as a gap. So if you ever have a gap in happiness, because again, happiness ebbs and flows, it's external. If you ever have a gap, you dip your hand into that jar and take something out and read it. And you fill that gap with joy, because joy is, again, the internal piece where happiness is external. The last thing I'll touch about mindset is the industry. Gary always talks about being the economist of choice. And there's one of two ways you can look at the current state, right? We can look at the interest rates and say the interest rates are high. They had a snapshot. The last 25 years, the average interest rate was 6.8%. It was sitting at 7.1 when we were in that room, and the historical trend was 7.7. So you could say we're at a horrible interest rate, but when you look at the historical trend or the last 25 years even, we're in a pretty good spot. And Jay Papazan pointed out, we're not doing our job if we wait for rates to come down. 47% of homeowners own the mortgage outright. You could rent your home out, use that income to buy a second property. And affordability, Gary touched on it, affordability, 69%, up 3%, 44% is the historical average. Guess what? Inventory might come into play because people might need to sell due to affordability. So it's all about your mindset. Be the economist of choice. No appreciation, no interest rates. Consult, be the fiduciary, and it's all about mindset. When you attack it the right way, people will absorb and welcome your words. The power of words.
Cool. Louisa, what do you got?
What do I have? If I only got to go to family reunion to do that power hour with Mel Robbins, I would have been satisfied with that, because I'm just like a huge fan, and her backstory resonates with me. So I paid attention to everything that she had said. And I was already familiar with the 5-second rule, but I got to see her kind of play it out, which was awesome. The 5-second rule is the moment that you have a thought, you have to act on it. Otherwise, after 5 seconds, you'll pass it by, and then you'll regret not doing what you're supposed to do. And she went into the psychology of it, which really made sense to me, because like she said, the habits are in your subconscious, and that it's hard to start a ritual, but you have to like start simple And like the way she did it, the way she explained it was that when it was time to like hit the snooze button, instead of hitting the snooze button, you decide that you're going to get out of bed and start your day. And she counted backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And, you know, to me, that it means a lot to be able to start a new habit if you're hitting the snooze button, which I used to do a lot. But sometimes just like doing the lead gen that I'm supposed to do and making the calls. And it gave me like a really good push in the right direction. So I was really happy with that.
Cool. Thanks. Kelly, what do you have?
Yeah, so I really focus on these bigger events like Mega Camp and Family Reunion. I love the networking aspect of it. You learn a lot, but it's also a great opportunity to network with other agents around the country, and that's a big source of business for me. So one of the networking organizations I'm part of, they always do a breakfast at Family Reunion. So I went to that with like met 65 other agents around the country, not all Keller Williams, but mostly. Met 8 like on a good level. I have 5 Zooms set up afterwards to other agents coming up this month. So like whether you're in a business networking group or KWYPN, or there was like a KW 40 plus group that met up for happy hour, there was subgroups, there was all sorts of networking groups that you could attend. And it's just a great opportunity to actually meet people in person, build rapport, you know, get to likability, build that referral source. So I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, one referral will pay for the whole thing beyond that. So I really took away, I always take away at these events is the networking opportunity, and then actually the post networking opportunity too. So these people I meet, but I'm following up with them. I've put them in my CRM already. They're going to get my touches. They're going to remember Kelly from Philly. So that was great. Always fun, and it's fun to do as well. You always want to, all of my lead gen, I try to do as fun as possible. And then one of the takeaways that I'm going to implement is I went to James Shaw. He had like a 20 or 30-minute class. So it wasn't even like a full hour, hour and a half, quick thing about 30, you know, KW is really into 33 touch, 36 touch. He did a session on 100 touch. So the agents in the audience kind of put together what the 100 touch looks like. So we got together in little subgroups, talked about what we would do to touch our database 100 times a year. So that was a really good way to implement. Like, yes, it's the texting, it's the quarterly calls, it's the monthly newsletters, but we talked about weekly community email lists, like newsletters to certain communities, like just becoming the source of the source, the resource, the real estate professional, your local go-to professional. You know, we don't want to be, you want to connect with these people on a regular basis. You can't, you know, be a silent agent in the background. And one of the things I'm going to implement, I'm still trying to tweak it out, but is the opt-in email and media campaigns. So a lot of agents were talking about that. So you'd grow your database by opting into these raffle prizes or MOFers, those types of things. So I'm excited to get those implemented with my database and grow my database. About you, David?
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, wow, that's a lot. And I want to congratulate anyone who is still watching this for as long as we've done this. You deserve a prize. But for those of you who are still with us, Noah, unfortunately, I did spend some time at the blackjack and craps table, but I got up early, so I was playing with their money. So I left. I broke even, free entertainment. So it was an absolute win for me. So I shared a number of things on our morning mindset calls with the team, but I think they're worth repeating. The one thing that I got that I've gotten now 2 years in a row, because this is my second year of Family Reunion, and I used to go to my prior company's, you know, business convention every year, and I'll tell you, KW does it right. You know, whether you call it drinking the Kool-Aid or not, there is so much value at these events. I'm excited to go to Mega Camp. So for anyone watching who has never gone to Family Reunion, do yourself a favor. Put $150 aside every single month for the next year so you can fund yourself getting there, because it is absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. So the one thing that I wanted to share that I really got from this is there's a gentleman by the name of Jeff Glover, who historically was a Mike Ferry trained agent who built an amazing business in Detroit, Michigan, and has since gone on to create Glover U. And he said something that resonated with me. And it's something that we all know deep down. It's probably something that's been shared with us when we got into this business. It's the old adage, you have to list to last. But he said it in a different way. It was shared with him. They said there are two types of people in this business. There's employees and employers. And if you're an employer, that means you wake up on Monday morning and work from 8 to 5 and go and get the product to put on the shelf. And the product to be putting on the shelf is, of course, the listings. And the beautiful thing that we have in our business, we live in a cooperative state. You get those pieces of inventory, you get those homes, you put them on the shelf, and then you have tens and tens of thousands of agents who are selling those products for you at night and on the weekends. And if you have a choice, become an employer, don't become an employee. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a buyer's agent. We certainly need buyer's agents, but to be an employer, to be a listing agent, it just really resonated with me. I also had the opportunity to sit in the audience, and Mike McCann, the real estate man, those of you from Philly know who he is, he sat on this panel. And this was said, and I wrote it down and it resonated with me. They said, know your values, share your values. When you're super clear on your core values, it serves as self-selection, both for attracting and repelling. See, we make no secret that we are on a mission to grow a very, very large-scale team of super successful agents. So I went into this with the mindset for growth in recruitment. But the same thing really is true for buyer clients, seller clients. When you put out there what your values are, you're going to attract the people who align to those values. And the third thing that I think is a takeaway, Noah, make sure when you're at the blackjack table and you're sitting on a soft 12, and the dealer has a 2, others may argue, but that is always an opportunity to double down. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.